Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Good? I am Stacey Ciceron, global educator at Oribe Hair Care, and I am so excited to be at the Kao Salon Global Experience in Amsterdam, in person with you guys here today. I'm so grateful to the Kao family and to the Oribe family for giving me such a huge platform, a global platform, to share such an important message with you guys. You know, growing up, I always heard from the women in my house that your crown is your glory and your hair is your beauty. By very strong women I was surrounded by in my family. But to be honest, when I got out into the world, the real world, I wasn't always met with that same message or that same love or that same appreciation. So sometimes I was left feeling like I was not enough. Sometimes I felt like I wasn't valuable, sometimes unattractive, and at times unprofessional. So that's why today it is my mission and my purpose to bring that love, to bring that appreciation, and to bring that awareness of the hair, the people, the culture, their contribution, and also how partnering with Oribe as a brand can help to elevate you, your salon and stylist, to just take you to the next level, because they are so focused on making sure that every hairstylist is equipped and empowered to be able to work with all clients of all hair types and feel comfortable having them in your salon chair. So today, I'm going to be sharing my vision with you, inspired by Afro futurism with a modern twist. You guys ready for that? All right, so let's get started. So coming to the stage, the first queen is Carla, escorted by my lovely assistant, Miriam. Carla's crown is inspired by a mohawk shape. But did you know that shapes and braids help us to determine what geographic region somebody was from? Their social status, their marital status. Are they married? Are they single? Are they widowed? Are they from East Africa? Are they from West Africa? All of that could be determined just by the braids and by the shape. So today, my model Carla has been prepped. Well, first of all, we had to lay the edges. Get your pen and paper because I'm going to be dropping the hair care terminology, okay? So we had to get those edges, which is the baby hairs, nice and secure, and keep them smooth by using this beautiful satin scarf. Carla's hair was prepped with the run-through detangling primer and the straightaway blowout cream so that we were able to blow dry it and stretch it safely without any heat damage. I then secured her hair into 4 ponytails, 1, 2, 3, 4, using the Oribe super fine strong hairspray to get it nice and sleek and have a nice firm hold. And then I secured it with an elastic, braided it up, so that we can tuck away any of those loose ends, okay? So now we're gonna talk about these hair extensions. I love adding hair extensions, especially these type of textured ones, to my updos and to my ponytails. It's a fun way to be able to play around with shapes, to play with length, to play with color, and to play with different textures. So I've already secured an elastic onto the loose hair, and now I'm just going to secure it to the ponytail by wrapping it around a couple times. Once that ponytail is secure, I then take the hair and twist it around just so that I can conceal that base. And later on, we're going to create a really cool shape with it. Next, I am going to apply extensions to the front piece using the same technique by adding the elastic to that top ponytail and swinging it around. So the first technique I'm going to do here with the extensions is just simply wrapping it around like a coil. This is a great way to create like a faux bang or like a pompadour feel to it. So I'm just going to loosely wrap it, and then we're going to start creating the shape. So based on what you want to emphasize or the features of your client in the chair, if you want to conceal maybe a forehead or something, you'll be able to bring that piece down a little bit lower. Or if you want to open up the face, you can easily just tilt that piece back a little bit. So I'm going to continue to coil it, wrap it around, and now I'm going to secure it with a bobby pin. And just to make sure that this base is nice and secure, I'm going to use 2 additional bobby pins on each side. Okay, so now on the second ponytail is where we're going to have a little bit more fun. Not all of the fun, but some more fun. So now with this technique, I'm going to do a classic, I guess you would call it a rope braid or a twist. But instead of just wrapping the hair around, I'm just going to kind of rotate it outwards. And then I'm going to cross it over each other. Then I'm going to rotate it inwards and then cross it over each other, then outwards. So this just makes the twist a little bit more secure. And also it's going to give us a little bit of texture and dimension to be able to play with toward the end. So now once the ends start to taper out a little bit, I'm going to use this tapered ends now to secure it to this bottom ponytail. And this also helps me to conceal that base a little bit there on the bottom ponytail. You're probably wondering, what are we going to do with all that space in the middle? And this is where, as hairdressers, you get to have a little bit of fun and just use your creative energy to create shapes. And the good thing about working with textured hair is that you don't have to tease it, you don't have to backcomb it, because all of the volume is already there. So what I'm going to do now is just start pinning it in place. And now I'm going to use large hairpins to do that. And I'm going to start moving from left to right just to keep it balanced. But I'm also keeping in mind that I need to conceal the other ponytails. Okay. All right, so get that last pin in. I'll take one more, or maybe 2. Use this to join that section in. And now, this queen needs no explanation. But if you want to level up on this look, you can easily add some gold accessories. So here I'm just using a gold lace. Gold is a great way to add a little bit more elegance, a little bit more royalty to this look. So I'm securing it with a hairpin. And now I'm just going to weave it into the front piece. Also, this gold lacing helps to enhance the shape, to bring the shape out a little bit more. And I'm just loosely wrapping it and pinning it. Going from left to right now. And as you're going along, you can choose to open up the mohawk section, open up that twist a little bit more if you want, depending on how much height you want, how much volume you want. Hairpin. Okay. And I'm just going to wrap it up with this last section. And what you'll see that I'm doing is just wrapping the ends around here. Whenever I'm working with the ends, I want to make sure that that piece does not slip out. So I wrap it around the bobby pin a few times, and then secure it into the base. So I'm doing the same thing to start it off, just wrapping it around the hairpin and securing it into the base. And now I'm going to wrap it around. You can easily take this lace and wrap it all the way down the ponytail to create a different effect, more bubbles. But I'm just going to keep it right here, closer to the base. Now I'm going to secure it with a hairpin, another hairpin. Okay. And if you see some pieces need to be concealed a little bit, I'm just going to join these two together and get it in there. Hairspray. And now I'm using a bit of the dry texturizing spray to fluff out that bottom ponytail, add some volume. If I want to adjust that shape a little bit. And every queen represents a tribe. And today we have our own exclusive tribe. Carla, Queen Carla. Thank you. Our next queen to enter the stage is Queen Patricia. Patricia's crown represents versatility. Did you know that you can create transformation on highly textured hair without the commitment by doing two things, using a really good thermal protectant, and if you want, you can add length and color with extensions. So today, on Patricia's hair, we did a classic silk press. So silk press is basically when you just naturally stretch out, carefully stretch out highly textured hair with a blow dry and flat iron. I prepped her hair with the run-through detangling primer, also with the straightaway blowout cream. Those have built-in thermal protectants up to 232 degrees Celsius and 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And I feel safe using that. I feel very confident using that so that I can maintain the versatility. And what I mean by the versatility is that Patricia can feel good knowing that she can not only wear her hair smooth and straight, but it can bounce back to being textured and bounce back to being curly without having any heat damage. So today I'm just going to smooth it out. I love to use the soft lacquer heat styling spray. It's heat activated. It's in the Brilliance and Shine family, so you're going to get tons of brilliance and tons of shine, and it has built-in thermal protectants, which again, I like to layer on those thermal protectants so that I feel super comfortable and confident applying heat to highly textured hair. So on Patricia's hair, you will notice that we call this section the leave out. So the leave out is where we're leaving out the natural hair so that it can actually blend in with the hair extension so it can look super natural. So I'm just quickly passing the flat iron over it to help to blend it in. And sometimes I'll just take a piece of the extensions and kind of flat iron it together. Also just a technique I use to blend the hair in. And sometimes less is best. Sometimes, when I say less is best, we're taking her from highly textured hair, which is naturally very wavy or textured, and we are bringing her to bra strap length. We call that bra strap realness. So we're bringing her down to that length right here, and that is enough. Plus this pop of color that's happening at the end, it just gives them a brighter spirit, elevates, and just gives you a little bit more strut in your step, as you will see soon from my lovely queen sitting here. So as a finishing touch, I'll just put a little bit of the Oribe Superfine Strong Hairspray to make sure that those flyaways are at bay and the hair is not separating from the extensions, keeping it looking very natural. And again, every queen represents a tribe, and we have our exclusive tribe. I'll tell you about that later on. Queen Patrice, you can get them. Thank you. Our next queen to enter the stage is Sansilia. Sansilia's crown is representing braids, okay? So did you know that braids can be used as a protective style? So to give that natural hair, to give that highly textured hair a little bit of a break from manipulating in case they want to grow their hair, take a break, maybe they work out, maybe they're going on vacation. Sometimes we can call this vacation hair, okay? And the technique that I'm using now is a wrapping technique that you'll often see with locks. And locks is a style that is run in our culture for a very long time, hundreds and thousands of years. And you will see the influence, again, of the African culture in hair, beauty, fashion, and runway. I've never been to a fashion week to date that has not included braids in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping the base here. Sansilia's hair is in what we call knotless braids. There was a time back in early 2000s and 90s or before where the braids would start its base with a knot. But now, as technology and innovations are happening, the girls don't want that. They want a more flatter, more natural look, so hence the knotless braids. If you can just come a little closer, you'll see how flat it is. It's normally just started braiding with the natural hair, and the extensions are just kind of fed in. These are artificial extensions. They're not human hair. It's braiding hair to create this look. So I'm starting by wrapping the hair, but what happens, and you might not see this if you don't look close, as I'm starting to go down the braid, the hair gets shorter and I start to run out a little bit, so I just grab an additional strand to the bunch, and then I just keep wrapping and going. So like I said earlier, shapes could determine somebody's geographic location or their marital or social status. But also braids can be seen as a tribal look as well. What tribe are you from? And all of that can be signified or portrayed with a braided style. So as I'm working my way down the end, I'm just wrapping it until I run out of hair. And when I get closer to one or two strands, I just see which direction the hair wants to go. It usually tells me. I tried to go forward and it's starting to bend back, so I decided to just follow it. And now I'm just taking the loose hair and wrapping it around the base. And that's a cool thing about working with textured hair too. Very, very minimal hairpins. Very minimal hairpins because the hair kind of works with you and stays in place. So now I'm going to finish it off with this top ponytail section. Turn you to the side a little bit. And you can see how it's starting to develop here. Again, just taking 1, 2, or 3 strands, starting by wrapping it around the base. And as I go, I'm just kind of adding an additional braid to the bunch, just so I don't run out of hair to wrap the strand with. Again, so let me just give you a peek at how I add it. It's starting to get shorter, so I just take one of these loose braids and add it to this bunch and just keep wrapping. Sometimes you can add 1, you can add 2. There's no right or wrong way to add it as long as you have hair left over to keep going. Working my way down the strand and adding it. Another thing that this wrapping does, it really helps to build a solid foundation for creating shapes, because the braids by itself wouldn't be firm enough to create these kind of shapes. So now that I'm working my way to the bottom, again, I'm just seeing which way the hair wants to go. Looks like it wants to go this way, and I'm wrapping that loose hair around the base until I run out of hair. And if there are any loose strands, you can cover it with that larger piece, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can always add a hairpin. So now, every queen's crown, every queen has a crown, but underneath that crown, you have scalp, and you have hair, and that needs to be cared for too. So now I'm going to add a little of the Gold Lust All Over Oil, which comes in this cool little dropper. I'm going to add a few drops to her scalp to make sure that the hair and scalp is nourished. I love this oil. It's 99% natural. It has 17 essential oils in there, like jojoba oil, shea oil, grapeseed oil, which is super lightweight, but it gets the job done. Hairspray. So I'm just going to press it in to the scalp. And usually if they just had braids too, it can be very soothing to the scalp as well. So now I'm going to use a little bit of the Oribe Superfine Strong Hairspray to make sure those flyaways are at bay, but to also give me additional support and hold. Queen Sensilia. Thank you. So the next queen to come to the stage, Queen Millie. Queen Millie is representing the natural textures. Did you know that the Oribe Hair Care collection, you can work with hair all the way from 4C, which is very, very tightly coiled, all the way to wavy and straight hair. That's what I really, really love about the collection. As hairstylists, you can feel confident that anybody walking into your salon can be serviced, whether their hair is straight or whether their hair is naturally curly. So Millie's hair, Queen Millie, was prepped with priming lotion and curl gelée. But one point that I want to mention is that my lovely assistant Miriam and Millie both have curly hair. One is more tightly coiled, more of a type 3 hair, and Millie's hair being more like a type 2, type 3 hair. But they are both using the priming lotion, leave-in conditioning detangler, and the curl gelée for shine definition, and you're having the same products, but a kind of a different end result. So that is how beautiful the range is, that you can feel comfortable to use it on any curl type. So You don't just have to have a regular everyday wash and go. This is considered, they're both wearing a wash and go hairstyle, and it sounds like you can just hop in the shower and go, but that's really not what it's all about. The wash and go style, it's a technique, and it's all about enhancing your natural wave or your natural curl pattern. So again, we use the priming lotion, the curl gelée, and diffuse dried, but we level up on every style that we do, and I thought it would be cool to add 2 cool little space buns and add the gold accessories to it. And like I said, every queen has their tribe, and I'll tell you about our tribe a little bit later on. So we're using a little bit of the dry texture spray here to give the hair some volume, to add some texture. If you want more volume, you can separate it more. Let me just separate it a little bit. You can take your time to separate the strands if you want to maintain that definition by just looking for where the hair naturally separates. Or you can just leave it in its natural form, because with curly girls, you find that day 1 hair is always very relaxed, but it naturally starts to swell and evolve on day 2 or day 3. That's usually when you start to fall in love with your hair a little bit more. So again, just adding a little bit more of the dry texturizing spray. Queen Millie. And now, the queen of all queens has entered the building. Queen Tumbush. Queen Tumbush crown is a literal crown. But did you know that I had a conversation with Tumbush before we came out to do the presentation, because I was so curious. I said, Tumbush, what does it mean to you to be wearing this crown? And she said, this crown makes me feel seen. This crown makes me feel visible. This crown makes me feel powerful. And this crown makes me feel unstoppable, okay? And I want you to know, how powerful is that, that as hairstylists, you have the power within your fingertips to make every single client feel like that is leaving your chair. Isn't that wonderful? So when I determined that I was creating a crown for our queen, I decided that I was going to do a braided pattern, a pie-shaped section pattern, to create this anchor and this foundation for her hair. Tumbush, her natural hair is about 2 to 3 inches, so I added some hair extensions just to make sure that we had structure and a great foundation for the crown. And then I did a feed-in method with extension hair, with braiding hair, not human hair, and just kept braiding and braiding and braiding and feeding in and adding in the hair. The hair was, long, because it was continuously wrapping, longer than Rapunzel, longer, 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 longer. And I just secured it with weaving thread. So now, if your queen wanted to leave just like that, that would be fine. But here, we like to level up. So I'm going to level up our queen by adding the crown. So what I'm doing is using a little bit of weaving thread and a needle, a curved needle. I like to use the curved needle because if you are sewing close to the scalp, this gives you an opportunity to curve away from the head so you're not poking the client with the needle. So I'm just going to follow this shape, follow the thread around. And what I'm simply doing is just joining this top crown with the pre-existing bottom crown. And I'm just going to work my way around. And the cool thing about using this braiding hair or the synthetic hair is that the shape is so flexible. I was thinking about creating this crown with like a cardboard or with a foam fill, but I realized, you know what? Let me just leave it how it is so that I am able to create my own shapes once I get it on there. So again, I'm just attaching that top crown piece with the bottom crown piece. And once I get toward the end, I'm going to just double stitch to make sure that it is locked in place. So I do a few stitches in place. And then I'm just going to cut all of the excess thread. Now, again, a beautiful crown, but we have to make sure that the scalp is being treated underneath that crown. Again, I'm using the Gold Lust All Over Oil to really nourish the scalp underneath. Healthy hair starts with a healthy scalp. So we want to make sure when this protective crown comes away, that she's left with healthy hair. I'm going to add a little bit of hairspray. Curling iron is plugged in. And again, I use this hairspray, the Superfine Strong Hairspray, to make sure that the flyaways are at bay. But then also, I like to follow it with a hot iron. Now, we want to keep in mind that I'm using this hot iron on synthetic hair. So what it's going to do is just kind of set that hairspray in place. And bond those flyaway hairs and help them to make look a little bit neater. This is one last detail you can add to level up on your crowns. And again, every crown, every queen has their tribe. Queen Tumbush. So, everyone, did you enjoy the presentation? That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy because my goal here today was to really bring the love, bring the awareness, and bring the appreciation for the hair, the people, the culture, the contribution to the hair, fashion, and beauty industry, and also how partnering with a brand like Oribe, who is dedicated and focused on elevating salon owners and elevating hairstylists to feel empowered and comfortable with every client that is sitting in the chair. I'm just overwhelmed by excitement and joy, and I had so much to share, but in such a little bit of time. So I hope that you were inspired by what you saw today and that you would do what you have to do. Take your little part to move that needle forward as agents of change here into this world. And to our online audience, hello. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning into this presentation. I hope that you were touched, moved, and inspired by this presentation, and you have more of an awareness and appreciation for the culture. But there's nothing like being in the building. So hopefully next year you get to be here with us too, all right? But I want to leave you with these last final words. Always remember to fix your crown, queen. See you soon.